It's always a surprise. It keeps it interesting.
Sorry, 1 minute. Probably get more started. You want to take mine? All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you. Can everyone please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'd like to welcome you all here this evening, and I do want to apologize for the small space. Our auditoriums are under renovation, so we're going to have these new beautiful auditoriums in the fall for our kids, but unfortunately that means we had to kind of squish in here tonight, so I apologize for that. Okay, so first thing is Joanne Kaplan here? There you are, Joanne. Is Bob here? Bob, okay, so first I'd like to introduce Bob Schreier and Joanne Kaplan. They are with District-Wise Consultants, and tonight we are going to be appointing them to help us with our superintendent search. They come highly recommended, appointed many superintendents around Long Island, and we're looking forward to working with them. In the future, you'll hear more about what they're going to be doing, how the community will be involved, which you will be. But this is just the first step, and they just wanted to come in and say hello and see everybody. So thank you both for coming this evening. And I'm going to read their resolution first, and then we'll go back to regular business. So resolved that the retention agreement with District-Wise Search Consultants on file with the district clerk is hereby approved, and the board president is authorized to execute same. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions? Thank you very much. So thank you very much. Welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you. That was number 9. They're out of here. 2 more seats. I have a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next are financial reports. May I have a motion to accept the financial reports?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Are there any questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next is personnel. Ms. Eckhouse, do you need me? We'll do the motion first. Okay, motion? Motion to accept the personnel?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Eckhouse?
Thank you, Mrs. Wachter, and welcome everyone. Nice to see a big crowd. This evening, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Ms. Megan Pavlick, who will be the new assistant principal at Fairfield Elementary School. Megan will be working alongside Principal Christy Gerhardt. I'll tell you a little bit about Megan. She's been with the Massapequa Public Schools for 13 years, but in the field of education for 15. She's worked, and you have to fact check me, Meg. She has worked in all of the elementary schools with the exception of Lockhart and McKenna, excuse me. Okay, and then when the 6th grade moved from the elementary to Berner, Megan went with them, right? And for the past 4 years, right, since 2017, Megan has been a teacher, a special education teacher there, working in the humanities with our 6th graders, done a phenomenal job. She is upbeat, positive, and she will be a wonderful addition to Fairfield School. So once again, welcome, Megan.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Congratulations on your new assignment, and thank you for being so dedicated to Massachusetts and to our students. Thank you so much. Next are the non-certificated appointments. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? That brings us right into our informational items, and Mr. Flynn is up first. He was here. There he is. You're up.
Any particular spot? How's this?
Yeah, can you see you? Yeah? Okay.
You want to move?
Oh, yeah, what's the
Why don't you come here?
Yeah, we'll get the podium. Do you want me to look at it? Right over there.
You know what? You know, can we do it?
Okay, that's perfect.
No podium? Use the podium. Thank you. Good evening. First of all, it's my first opportunity to thank the board and the administration for the raise that you gave to security not too long ago. It is sincerely appreciated, and it just continues to show the level of support that you give for the safety and security of the district. So the men and women of the Massapequa Security Department are eternally grateful, and you continue to give raises, we'll continue to raise the bar. So thank you. Tonight is just a very brief presentation. It's the district-wide safety plan. We do this every year. There are a number of changes that have taken place, and I have to acknowledge a couple of people who again volunteered to take on another committee. Ms. Caramore and other members of the board who continue to chip in and provide information. I'd be remiss, there's one other person who again volunteered, Mr. Justin McCaffrey, who has his hands in basically everything. He's been a member of our SAVE committee for many years. You know, he's the Town of Oyster Bay Public Safety Commissioner. He's also a fire commissioner, and he took on the role this year on the district-wide safety committee at no charge to give us some insight with his level of expertise on that end. So I just wanted to acknowledge that end. The plan, as you know, we never consider it finished. It's fluid in nature. As you know, things keep changing day by day, or if not hour by hour. But so we continue to tweak that. That being said, for the next 30 days, there'll be a comment period on that, which again, we're always looking for recommendations and suggestions. The other piece of that, you should know, that's just one part of what we do. That's a document. It's a public document, which is in contrast to our building level plans, which are confidential in nature. And the building level plans are a lot more granular. The district-wide plan is very global in nature. Talks about what we do through a whole host of from social and mental health programs to our security program. Again, Dr. McCaw has a big piece in that as far as the social emotional piece of it. But the building level plans, which the board will have access to within the next 24 to 48 hours. And again, I have to thank the building principals who have been outstanding. And again, superintendent and Mr. Adcock, who put us in this room just within the last couple of days. And again, we had every building principal that was in here in the beginning of August to make sure that we went actually line by line, word by word. And as I say, that the building level plans are confidential in nature, and really what happens in an emergency. So I just wanted to publicly acknowledge the building principals for their foresight and their willingness to be well ahead of the game, which we are. There are many districts that struggle and do it independently, but here we believe in teamwork. So I just wanted to acknowledge that piece of it. The other thing, as far as getting back to the security department, what we've got coming up August 26th is we will be doing an 8-hour annual training with all 60-something members of the department. We'll be talking about a whole host of items and reviewing of last year, what we may anticipate this year. That entails tabletop exercises, a refresher in our AED, CPR, blood trauma, and threat assessment, our threat assessment process. So that'll be coming up on August 26th. And then, as usual, the superintendent invites me to speak to the administrators before the opening of school. And again, accolades to the district, because that's something that we, before the doors open up on the first day of school, we're ready to go out of the box. And we've already, building principals, every year we review the quick guide, which is a consolidation of our plans. Building principals received that just the other day during the training, and that'll be going out to every staff member in the district. Again, that's a confidential document. And then again, I always have to acknowledge, and when I do the longer presentations, but Anne Marie, who's a wealth of information and experience, she updates the actual guidebook for us. So again, Alan and Lisa was present for her first building level plans, and it was very helpful and very to have her there to get her right in from the beginning. So I want to thank her for being there, and Mr. Adcock for making that happen. So that is an abbreviated overview of what we have going on in the next couple of weeks, and what we've been doing since the last day of school through June, July, and where we are in August right now. And still a whole lot more to do before the doors open up. Questions, comments? Any concerns?
Board members, do you have any questions?
No, not a question, but once again, a big thank you, because what you guys have done again over the past year was, again, tremendous, because not many districts were continuing to follow through with all of their additional safety and security measures. While there was COVID going on, you still have to also recognize that there are other safety and security things going on as well. And I'm really happy that you continued all of the training and all of the drills at every single level, despite everything else that was going on. So thank you again for keeping us.
Well said, Ms. Cameron. That's absolutely true. There are a lot of districts that did struggle through it, but we didn't miss a beat, and that's it's a shout out to every staff member in the district, from custodians to teachers to everybody. We kept on task, and going forward we'll continue to do the same. So thank you for that. That means a lot.
Okay.
Quick question. I just want to thank Mr. Flynn for all your hard work, and especially for your staff. They're just fantastic. Two quick questions. So we are all hoping for normalcy, or as much as possible, when we come back in September. That being said, our building here in Massapequa will be as many people as possible, and I just want to emphasize how important it is to make sure the students are wearing their lanyards. and that all the building principals, administrators are focusing on that. That's an important part of the security plan. And then on the back of the lanyard, as you know, is our security number, 308-5333. And that should, everybody in their community should have access to that number, and they can call at any time, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And that's really an important number, so I just want to make sure everyone knows about that.
You'd be hard pressed to find board members that know that granular of detail as to what's on the back of a high school student's lanyard. So, yes, well said, absolutely. And Barbara Lowell and her staff, they do a great job at the high school. And you're right. It's always been important, but it's that much more to know who's in a building. So, thank you, Mr. Wall.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Flynn, and to all your staff for help keeping the staff and the students and us safe, so thank you for that. I just wanted you to elaborate on that, and maybe, I don't know, if one of the administrators can, on the comment piece, so
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Thomas, thank you.
So this emergency, district-wide emergency management plan will go up on the website tomorrow, okay? And we will have a 30-day comment period. So we invite you to, I don't know how many pages it is, many, right, Anne-Marie? It's a packet to really peruse it and make any comments. And we will take all of that into consideration. That will go to the board, to central administration, to Mr. Flynn. We'll take a look at it, and then the board will adopt the plan at the next official meeting, which will be September 9th. Okay? So it's a 30-day window.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a great big thank you, for keeping the buildings running safely, and like you said, plans need to be fluid, and the fact that you guys are responding, like you said, day to day, hour to hour is really appreciated, and it shows, in our comfort level sending our children to such a safe school. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Statham. Appreciate that.
Thank you. And I'll just reiterate what everyone said. Thank you to all the security guards for keeping us safe, and for you and for your diligence in keeping them safe, and working with all these COVID rules that sometimes counteracted the rules that we had in place to keep the kids safe. So it was just finding that that middle ground. So we thank you for everything, and appreciate it. Thank you.
No, thank you. And again, just thank you for the level of support. Everybody stay safe.
Is the grant status report, and Ms. Silveri will present.
Thank you, Mrs. Wachter, members of the Board of Education and Community. Speaking of COVID, this is the perfect time to update the board on the status of our COVID-related grants. So at this point in time, we've actually been allocated money from 3 different grants from both federal and state government. One of which you may remember came out last year at the beginning of the pandemic, known as the CARES Act, where we were able to utilize the funds for PPE and technology purchases. A second grant was just put out over this summer that we were able to apply for and use to be able to fund a majority of it with our facilities, where we're looking into ventilation upgrades, as well as technology and curriculum and instruction and social emotional learning. There is a third grant that actually just came out earlier this month, and this is where we ask for the community's help as well so that they can understand. It's called the American Rescue Plan. Many people have read about this. And what this is, it's requiring this application before we can submit it as a district to be able to use these funds. We have to put this plan of the use of the funds up on the district website, along with a comment period. So tomorrow, the community can expect to see on our district website the plan, the allocation that we were given as a district, as well as a comment period, which will be open for about 10 days. Once that 10 days is over, I will be able to finalize and submit that application.
And so the plan will be put up which says what we're using the money for.
Correct. You'll see the allocation, and you'll actually you'll see one specifically for what we call the ARP, but I will also have a link up there so that you can review every one of the grants I mentioned tonight and how we've used them in the allocation.
And were there any requirements for us to get these grants? Did we have to do anything to comply to be able to get the money?
There's a certain amount of requirements that you have to follow within there. For example, the district need must meet the allowable expense and things of that nature, but that's something that our office handles and works directly with SCG.
Board members, do anyone have any questions?
I just wanted to ask, in terms of the money, we were guided on what we could spend the money on, right? There was some
Correct.
criteria for what the money could be used for.
Absolutely, the parameters are we have to spend on a certain amount of things, and it has to match your district needs. These specific grants, I call them COVID-related grants, although they each have their own names, because everything that you spent the money on did have to directly relate to COVID.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so discussion of board committee chair people. So, that's just for, buildings and grounds and, buildings and grounds, budget and finance, the student advisory, is it the student advisory?
Yes. That's what it's called.
And is it the safety, is that something separate? That's separate.
Separate, it's the save.
So it's just those three?
On that one, yeah.
Okay.
And what about the audit? Do you have audit?
The audit, budget and finance. What's that?
Audit, she asked me about the audit.
No, the board members that serve on the audit committee, but we appointed the citizens on the reorg meeting, so we just have to decide who wants to be on the audit committee for tonight. Okay. All right, sorry, folks. Okay, so, all right, so I guess first, buildings and grounds, who wants to be the chairperson?
I'd be happy to be the chairperson.
Okay, and then, we usually have
Yeah,
a second.
is
So
it okay if I
Allison,
stay
do you
on?
want?
Yeah.
Right, all right, do you want to chair budget and
Yes,
finance
I would
again?
love to.
And then I'll be the second, all right, because Janine works at night, right, so it's
Yeah,
hard
they
to
work
her.
at night, so I'm
So
usually
that's
the
why we
morning
give her
bell
the
and
7
student
a.m.
advisory. Yes, I get the 7 a.m.
She gets the 7 a.m. one.
She can keep them.
That's the student advisory, and that.
Oh, those are the kids, I'll take the kids.
Yeah, I know it's been Janine and Gary has been on the student advisory.
I'd be happy to serve again with you.
And, great, you're okay with
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I would love to do it,
Work
but
if you
like,
want.
I work in a school, so it's
Yeah, you gotta go
hard to
do
do
that
that.
thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 7 a.m. is for Janine and Gary, okay. Audit committee, so this year was Allison and I.
I mean, I'd like to stay on the audit committee, if that's okay. That's not like a real strength of mine. I feel like I'm learning, and I'd like to continue to be part of it.
Does anybody else want, or for the audit committee? I guess I'll serve again then. All right, Allison, it's you and me again. All right, that was simple. Okay, that's done. All right, so the next item on our agenda is the Board of Education goals. Just being that what tonight is, and that you all came out to talk tonight, I think, what did I say now? Oh, the change in board, I'm sorry, folks, I'll get back to that, hold on. Change, okay, let me just see, was there information on it? Okay, I think it's pretty simple. What we wanted to do is just update our Board of Ed procedures on email, right? Currently, if you email the board, it goes to the BOE email, and then it goes out to all board members, the superintendent, and the district clerk. Only the president's been able to reply, but we can't send, so if I as the president send out an email to another board president, they can't reply to me from the outside. So then we would have to go through the district clerk or the superintendent or something else, and so what we're going to do is just open the emails, and our emails are going to be just like any other employee of the district, to go in and out. So we're going to be amending our procedures. I think we have to vote on that. So do I have a motion to make the change to our Board of Ed procedures to open our emails?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, so that change we made. Board of Ed goals, I think that we're going to table that for another night, since, like I was beginning to say, a lot of you came out here tonight. I'm sure you all want to speak and address the board, and so in the interest of time, we will push the Board of Ed goals to another night and another time. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to table the Board of Education goals for 21-22.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the resolutions? Just the resolutions, any comments or questions? No? Okay. So with that, I'm going to go into the resolutions. We'll do the updates and then we'll have public comments. So it should only be a few minutes. Okay. So the next is number one, resolve that the Board of Education approve the IEP recommendations as per the attached. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number two, resolve that the Board of Education approve the students listed for home instruction. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number three, resolve that the Board of Education approve the consultant contracts as per the attached and authorizes the Board President to execute said agreements. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
As, any opposed? Number four, resolve that the district clerk set the tax levy as per the attached. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Adcock, do we usually have to read
Typically, this gets read in its entirety.
That's what I'm saying, okay, so it's not here, okay. Let me just pull it up. You got a copy? That's what I was worried about, 'cause I know I usually have to, oh boy.
I'll be glad to read it if you'd like.
It's okay. Okay, so I can start with the resolved or the we the undersigned, do I have to read it from the beginning?
I think read the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, we the undersigned trustees of Massapequa Union Free School District number 23 in the town of Oyster Bay, Nassau County, New York, hereby certify as follows. At a meeting of the trustees of Massapequa Union Free School District number 23 held in the said school district on the 5th day of August 2021, the following resolutions were duly adopted and have been entered on the records of the said school district. Resolved that the following budget, gross amount of the necessary claims and expenditures in Massapequa Union Free School District number 23 in the town of Oyster Bay school year 2021-22 amounting to $210,511,077 for school purpose, $6,695,392 library purpose, total $217,206,469. B, and the same is hereby accepted. Resolved that the sum of $169,289,819 for school purpose, $6,432,093 library purpose, total $175,721,912. Be the remainder of budget adopted as above, and the amount which may be raised by taxation, which is the net amount, from Massapequa Union Free School District number 23, the town of Oyster Bay, Nassau County, New York, for the year 2021-22 be levied upon the taxable property of the said school district, as said property has been certified to by the assessor for the school year 2021-22. Resolved that the district clerk of this school district is hereby authorized and directed pursuant to section 6-20.0 and amendments thereto of the Nassau County Administrative Code to file a certified copy of these resolutions with the Nassau County Legislature and the Department of Assessment, Mineola, New York, on or before August 16, 2021. So do I make a motion? Make a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, sorry about that. That was a long one. Number five, resolve that the Board of Education authorizes funding of financial reserves as documented in the attached memorandum. Mr. Adcock, we can have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Adcock, do you want to give an overview?
Sure. Thank you, Mrs. Wachter. Based on the operations of the 2020-21 school year, the district spent approximately 98.6% of its budget, and so just under $3 million was left as an operating surplus. The resolution that you have in front of you is taking a portion of that operating surplus and depositing it into the district's reserve accounts. And so there are 3 reserve accounts that we're recommending that you deposit monies into: the reserve for property loss, the reserve for accrued employee benefit liability, and the reserve for workers' compensation. Those total $1.8 million.
Thank you. And did we establish the TRS yet?
You do have a reserve for retirement system, but it's the employee's retirement system. So that's something that I have spoken to Mrs. Severi about, and she's going to work with the board and the Budget and Finance Committee to establish the teacher's retirement system reserve.
All right, great, thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? No concerns? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Number 6, resolve that the Board of Education approve the district plan of services for special education. Make a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Dr. McCaw, do you need to address it, or do you just, it's just there?
Unless you have questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on the plan?
I mean, Dr. McCoy, you had said this is just an overall general plan for
Sure.
the district.
Sure, every district is required to have a special ed plan of service that is renewed by the board every 3 years. And essentially, the plan talks about procedural safeguards, parent rights, evaluations, information regarding CSE meetings, special class ratios, et cetera. It's a mini version of Part 200, which are the commissioner regulations of the state of New York for special education.
So our plan is guided by the rules from the state.
It's, every district has a plan, they're very similar.
Great,
Okay.
thank you so much.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Number 7, resolve that the Board of Education approve the consultant contracts listed below and authorizes the board president to sign said contracts. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Number 8, resolve that the Board of Education approve the consultant contracts listed below and authorizes the board president to sign said contracts. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? And I'd just like the community to be aware that Long Island Athletic Services, we're keeping the same contract, however, they are donating their services this year to Massapequa School District, so they won't be charging us fees. So we just want to thank Dr. Schwartz, is it the total rehabilitation or whatever?
Yeah.
It's Long Island, and then this is the Long Island Athletic Services, so this is for the athletes and
Yes, correct.
Services
The
to them.
services that they provide at our games and training for our athletes, and it's very kind of them to be giving back to the community by donating those services this year.
Yes, so we are very appreciative and we thank him, so just wanted everyone to be aware. All right, number 10, resolve that the Board of Education approve the memorandum of agreement with the MFT and authorizes the board president to sign said agreement. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number 11, resolve that the Board of Education hereby appoints the law firm of Sokolov Stern LLP to serve as special counsel for the Board of Education in connection with the matter discussed in executive session and any action arising therefrom. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education hereby approves the retainer agreement with Sokolov Stern LLP for this matter and authorizes the President of the Board of Education to execute such retainer agreement on behalf of the Board of Education. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number 12, resolve that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby appoints Julie Torrey as impartial Section 504 hearing officer to preside over the Section 504 due process hearing for a student identified as student number 228180045. And it is further resolved that the Board of Education agrees to compensate Ms. Torrey for her services as hearing officer in the amount of $425 per hour or $1,800 per hearing date, plus out-of-pocket expenditures. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number 13, resolved that the Board of Education hereby appoints Dr. Michael Schwartz to serve as school medical inspector pursuant to Section 913 of the New York State Education Law in order to evaluate the ability of the employee named in the attached confidential Schedule A to perform his or her duties, and it is further resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the board president to execute a contract for such services with Dr. Michael Schwartz, and it is further resolved that pursuant to Section 913 of the New York State Education Law, the Board of Education directs the employee named in the attached confidential Schedule A to appear for a medical examination in the office of such school medical inspector at a date and time to be set by the superintendent of schools, and to bring any relevant medical documentation to such examination. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number 14, resolve that the Board of Education accept the bid results and award of the Southeast Nassau Transportation Cooperative for the bid opening May 27, 2021 as attached. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number 15, resolve that the Board of Education approve a change order in the amount of $10,285 from Fidel Construction, Inc. for Phase 1 Fairfield Classroom Renovation Project. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number 16, resolve that the Board of Education accept the bid results and award of the Massapequa Transportation for the bid opening July 21, 2021 as attached. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we have an added resolution. Resolved that the law firm of Hamburger, Maxon, Yaffe, and Martingale, LLP, be and is hereby appointed as special counsel to the district to address the matters, issues, and potential litigation delineated in the letter of retainer dated August 5th, 2021, on file with the district clerk, retroactive to July 28, 2021, pursuant to the terms contained in such retainer, and the board president is hereby authorized to execute same. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, correspondence was received from Danielle D. Domenico, John Bruder, Julie Schimmel, Adrian Stashin, Jennifer Bernstein, April Brandt, Jody Peer, Jen Frederick, Jillian Pafaso, Robin Raleigh, Dawn Kostakis, Kristen Hauser, Dana Hensley, and Michelle Carroll. And that's as of last week? Last Wednesday. So the slew of emails that we got are not included in this. But they will be on the next one. Updates from the board. So things have been changing rapidly. As you all know, we had a statement from the State Department of Health that said they would not be issuing guidance and that it was going to be a local decision. We had our Nassau County Executive made a statement Tuesday to say that she also believes that it's a local decision and she will leave it to school districts. However, since we were here, I believe the Commissioner of Education, Betty Rosa, sent off I don't know what you call it, a stern email or a stern letter to the Department of Health, basically telling them that they do have the authority and the responsibility and they should issue guidance. So they're being pushed, and I believe that that's going on up there. So this is a very fluid situation, and of course we're working on what's going on here. Local control is what we wanted, and it appears like we have it for the moment. We don't want to get too excited because I'm too afraid of just believing that that's going to happen. But we're going to keep pushing for this local control, and we are in the process of setting policy. But because we live in New York State and we know how things change, we have retained counsel to work on our behalf in case we need their help, in case to retain that local control. So that's what we're doing on our end. We're starting to formulate policy for the school year. We're going to have science, we're going to have data, we're going to have statistics, we're going to have studies, and we're going to support the decision that we make for our students with this and why we should keep it a local decision and do it responsibly, and that's what we're going to do. So we have all of this in our works, and we're going to do that. So with that said, do we have anything anybody else wants to say before I take it to public comment? Anything else we've been doing?
Board updates?
Yes.
That is the board updates
Okay.
now. Yeah. So
I just want to mention I was at the 25th anniversary of the Massapequa Hall of Fame celebration on Monday. It was a great event, 25th year that we give 12 scholarships to deserving seniors as well as community members. And I've been fortunate, I was the first class, 1995, to be inducted, and I'm very fortunate to be able to be involved in a great organization in a great town with very deserving people, not just students, but community members and tons of volunteers that make this a wonderful community. So, thank you.
And I will say, we were here on July 26th. It was like a marathon day,
Yes.
right? We were here from early in the morning to the evening. We had a board retreat, some, training. We met with the district-wise. We had some other, executive session stuff going on. So it's been a productive summer. We're trying to get everything done. We're trying to get back to normal operation and doing the things and addressing the things that we need to. So I guess that's it for the updates for now. I'm going to read my thing here for public comment, and then I will open the floor. So the Board of Education allows time at the conclusion of its regular meetings for comments from residents and attendants. Please note that any person wishing to speak during this time shall comply with all provisions of board policy. Although a total of 30 minutes is allowed for comments, the board president has discretion to adjust the total time. We remind you to keep your comments to 3 minutes and to conduct yourself in a respectful manner. Please address school matters only and refrain from addressing topics related to personnel matters or individual students. Such concerns should be discussed privately with the superintendent or administrator at an appropriate time. The board is here to listen and cannot provide immediate feedback or engage in open dialogue. Any necessary follow-up will be noted and provided at a later date. So with that, I will open the floor. Remind everyone to state your name and address for the record. That's it. Anyone have a question, comment? Ms. Stein?
You know I gotta start it off with. So I just wanted to say thank you for all of the advocating that you have done this past year for our students and our children. And I am so excited to hear that that fight's continuing alongside of us. I know that speaking to friends across Long Island, they are not as fortunate as we are here in Massapequa. So kudos to you guys for really supporting us. So. And by the way, it's nice to see your faces. Everybody's faces. So I know that you held the retainer for the attorney. I just want to make it public that my children, regardless of what Nassau County, New York State, the governor, the scandals, whatever comes up, my children will not be wearing a mask. So, what I'm basically doing is saying, I don't want to say put you on notice, but sort of that, because no one is to hand my child a mask, no one is to tell my children that they need to wear a mask, and I want to know if the district's going to send my children home every single day, because every day they will come back without a mask on.
And what's the legal authority there?
Right,
What's the legal authority?
Yeah, right, exactly. So I know that you're on our side. This is not like a threat or anything. This is we're working together. So are we going to have to, come to school every day and get sent home? Because my children are ready. They're ready. They know they're ready. So
not asking permission.
Right, they're not asking permission. They're walking in because this is their school district that we pay taxes for, and I want to make it clear that this is our plan. And as you can see, this 100 parents are with me, and there's thousands more behind us.
Yes.
No, I don't want to entertain. I want you to just stop with whatever you're doing.
Sorry about that. I think that's something we have to consider. I mean, I think that's as we're determining our policy for the future, I think that's a consideration that we have to know. And so that's why we're asking for this local control. This is why we're trying to ensure that they don't take it away from us now that we seem to have it. I know. We definitely have to, address it, and we'll have to have policy for that, as we're constructing our reopening policy. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Kelly McKeon. You need my address too, or?
Yes, right? No, she said
okay. I'm just going to read from this because I'm nervous. There's a lot of people in here. It's not about masks. Even though I am wearing one. So that's okay. You should be allowed to do it. So good evening. Tonight I want to talk about universal pre-K. The state is expanding universal pre-K to districts that do not have this program. In April's legislative budget, Massapequa was given $869,400 to start a 5-day-a-week, full-time pre-K program for 161 resident 4-year-olds. My question for the board is, why wouldn't we want to take this money to start a program? I am sure you're going to give me some very easy excuses. Some of them, we don't have the space. Well, we all know Long Island school districts have declining enrollment, and I bet you could find 10 classrooms in our many elementary schools to house this program. Well, this could be short-term funding, right? Well, this is true for all additional federal and state funding. Every year, for example, the summer rec program is contingent on the budget passing. The district residents know this very well, and with open and transparent conversations, parents would understand that pre-K is only available if the district receives this funds. In conversations with Jason Breslin, the director from the Office of Early Learning at the state, it is the state's intention to continue this funding after federal funds run out. Miss Silveretti, she mentioned about the American Rescue Plan. That's where this is coming from. What about lunch? As for lunch, we all know free lunch has been extended for next school year, and this would include free lunch for these pre-K students. Well, you can also say it would cost us more than the $5,400 per student to run this program. Well, the district could contract out this to other community-based organizations such as Scope or the Y. These organizations already know how to run a program for the allotted $5,400 per student. In fact, the district already has a working relationship with the Y, so it would be a seamless transition. Now let's talk numbers. I called a few local pre-Ks before tonight to find out costs. On average, a 5-day, full-time program will cost a Massapequa parent $10,000. That would be about $1.6 million spent on pre-K for the total of these 161 families. I am sure 161 parents could use that $10,000 for other items such as paying for the rising property taxes. So again, I ask, why wouldn't the board and the district want to take this money, even if it is only for a few years? Instead, you have decided that the district couldn't use $869,000. Instead, you are telling the state to keep this funding because Massapequa residents couldn't use this money. When Mr. Adcock responded to me this week, and I quote, "State grant monies are only available to a school district if it offers a universal pre-K program," that is not the entire truth. The truth is that you guys decided that we didn't need this money, and I'm not sure why. Thank you.
This is another third rail. The pre-K, we did have a huge discussion about a pre-K program a couple of years ago. Some will remember during the 6th move. We had speculated that we would use the space in the elementary schools for a pre-K program, and quite frankly, it was a resounding no, right? The community at large kind of said no, they didn't want a pre-K program.
Well, basically, it was my recommendation to look at a pre-K program because there were going to become space available in our elementary schools. And the board at that time,
different board,
completely different board, right? It was an absolutely no.
Emphatic no. It was an emphatic no. So, I mean, as time goes on and as people have, changed, I mean, it's definitely something we could explore or look into or gauge the public once again. But I think that's kind of been where we're at because we knew it was a no. It was a no from the community. They didn't. And I'm wondering if it came up again because I do remember a whole big thing and people were they said, hey, we paid for our kids, and so the next people want to pay. They didn't want to pay for someone else's kids. But it's definitely something we could explore. We can look into and gauge the interest of the community once again and see if they're into it.
I definitely think that the district would be very well served to explore the possibility of introducing a pre-K program. And you would have to, of course, engage the entire community.
I know one of the issues too had to do with the program. So one of the issues also had to do with our surrounding churches and synagogues that all offer these programs and what that would do to them and then the effect that it would have on everyone. And so I think that was a big factor in the resounding no at the time. So just there were a lot of factors. Again, not to say we can't explore it, we absolutely can explore it, but there were many factors of why. And truly, space now has been taken up with a lot of other programs and things that we're offering to keep a lot of our special education students in district. And so we're offering more, and because of that, I don't know if we truly have that space anymore. But again, something to explore, I don't know.
I mean, I think, if I can remember, another issue was parents were concerned at the time that a preschool program in the school district would have to follow the same curriculum as Common Core, and that's when that was a big issue. Parents wanted children the opportunity to play and to develop in a more naturalistic context, which is what they were doing in the local preschools. So I think that was also a driving force in addition to some of the issues, because the money came with directions on how it needed to be used, and I think at that point there was pushback. But of course, things change and communities' needs change, and possibly the guidelines have changed and what you can do, what kind of a preschool you can provide. And I think with everything that's going on with COVID, more and more people are seeing like children need the opportunity to interact and to play and to develop. So I think that was another issue, but definitely something to explore.
Perhaps we should reopen that conversation. Yes, sir?
Yes, I just want to thank everyone here that just came out in support to unmask our children. So it's Joe Masterson, 131 Spring Street. So I don't think we put a lot of trust in doctors and medical professionals. The best advice I've gotten is from my uncle. He's a personal trainer. When he's the DJ. Go figure. So I just want to take the balance of my time. Just want to make a statement about critical race theory. We all love American history when it comes down to it. And it was the party of Lincoln that freed the slaves. Now you got liberals. They want to erase that history by tearing down Confederate statues and Confederate flags. So it doesn't make sense. So I had to deal with my niece. She comes home from school and was telling me about how she learned that George Washington owned slaves and that his teeth came from slaves. All this stuff. And I was like, is this appropriate for a second-year law school student? And last time I checked, law school's about learning the Constitution. So I told my niece, I said, listen, okay, yes. George Washington owned slaves, but he also discovered the Declaration of Independence. And in this country, we protect the Declaration of Independence because it's not just a piece of paper. It's a map that leads to treasure, of Templar gold. And that's why Nicolas Cage tried to steal it. And now that you got the liberals coming after our Constitution, the only way to stop them is for us to steal it first. Does anyone want to protect the Constitution?
All right.
Yes? Okay, thank you. A lot of people like to say I'm racist because I don't want to teach critical race theory.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh my God.
Who are you? Where do you live again?
This is censorship.
My name's Shannon Trankina. I have kids at Canterbury, and thanks for speaking out and saying that we do hopefully have local control and that it does parental choice. Very much for that. One of the things that I'd like to ask you is if when you're reconsidering your reopening guidance, is if you can make sure that we as parents can get back into the schools. We missed out. I was a PTA president at McKenna last year, and I gladly did it, and I, didn't get the benefits of going to school. But we need our parents back in the school.
Yes.
We need back to school night. We need to be in there. We need to be, seeing these teachers, the classrooms where our kids are running. So one of the things that I'm asking, and even if I have to wear a mask at back to school night, I will do it. But I'd like to see my kindergartners classroom.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep, that's you. Yep.
Yes, good evening. My name is Joseph Solito. I live in East Shore Drive, right down the block. I have 2 girls in Umpqua Elementary. Again, I'd like to echo everyone saying thank you to the board. Ms. Lyconis, good luck in your retirement. We are very fortunate, and I think we could say that. I know many friends who don't even know their board members' names, and they look at Massapequa with envy, and they say, wow, you guys have such a great school district. And I thought it was pretty ironic that the guidelines or lack of guidelines or the statement came out today and we had a meeting tonight. So I kind of thought that was catching lightning in a bottle. So I just wanted to give a little stat to back up Rose's great speech, because I think we all agree with Rose, all right? So the New York State COVID tracker, this is coming exactly from New York State. Kids 0 through 9, 10 through 19, that's school age, children's age. Statistically, 0.0 deaths, not 0.1, not 0.2, 0.0. About 10 weeks ago, you guys bravely, unanimously decided to make mask optional. Now we have 10 more weeks of hard data. Between the last 5 weeks of school and 5 weeks of summer, there's been 0 cases, maybe not cases, but 0 instances. And every Wednesday or every day at 3:45, we would get that update, right? And all we saw was 0, 0, 0, 0. So now I think we can make even more of a confident decision based on the last 10 weeks that we had. And finally, it took me a long time to realize, but side note, this is my first Board of Ed meeting. So, and I think there's going to be a lot more. I think people are going to be a lot more involved. We love you guys. We're really, really very lucky. But piggybacking on that, local elections, I just realized, are very, very important. It's more important than the presidential election. We all go vote for the presidential election, but now you're going to start to see us voting on more local level. Board of Ed, town supervisor, and we're all going to vote them out, okay? This coming November. It starts with Laura Curran.
That's right.
Bruce Blakeman.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We're very lucky. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Good night.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Bond. I live in Huntington. Been teaching at Coleman Harbor High School for 30 years and the head lacrosse coach for 21. I'm friends with Tim Radomski. I'm just here to support him. I don't know what transpired. Tim's been very tight.
Yeah, we
He's a good soldier. He's a good soldier.
Right, okay.
We cut our teeth together as JV coaches. Then we've gone on to have very successful programs. And it's not about wins and losses and state championships. He's got his, I have mine. I grew up in Elmont, played at Sewantica, played against some great teams in Massapequa. And we've scrimmaged them every year. Class act, Coach Powers, I played for Coach Powers at Nassau Community College. So I don't really know what's transpiring.
Well,
But
we can't discuss it, you know
I
that, we
I
can't
trust
discuss
you.
personnel, so we
I'm just here to let
appreciate
everybody
you coming down.
that's sitting there, that Tim's a good man. And he puts kids that play collegiately at some of the finest institutions. And that says a lot, and it has nothing to do about wins and losses. Because if you want to go wins and losses, he's up here.
Right.
He's up here. So, but he's better. So I just want to make sure everybody in this community understands what kind of guy that you have controlling on the sidelines. And Coach Powers and the rest of the staff. Everything that I know, and I've been fortunate to win a lot of games, I stole from Coach Powers and the other men that I played for. Coach Stanowski and Coach Flatley at Sewantica. Hall of Fame men, and Tim's going to be one of those guys if he's given the chance to just continue. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
There's some people outside. Okay, yes. Yeah, go ahead, we'll start, and the people behind you, like, step forward after she's done so that you guys can have your say.
My name is Carla Mehta. I'm from People Park. I'm about to express what in this room seems to be an unpopular opinion. But I am here to say that there is a lot of us that want mask mandates.
Stay home.
Okay, let her have her minute, 2 minutes.
I'm just very confused why you would react that way, because I kept silent when you guys expressed your opinion, and I just would like the same respect. I understand that you guys have your opinions, but nobody understands where we're coming from. Many people today, we sent you guys a letter, I know that it's not listed as correspondence because it was sent today, with many, many signatures on it, and we're continuing to gather signatures. So while we may be quieter, we may not necessarily be the minority. So we will continue to express what our opinion is, and as much as we are respecting everybody else's opinion, please try and respect ours. Lots of people are afraid to speak up and say that they're for mask mandates for the exact reason that you guys just demonstrated here tonight. We all have a right to voice our opinions.
To choose.
That is your choice. We all have a right to give our opinions to our Board of Education. And you guys have one opinion, and there's a lot of us that have another. So I'm asking the board to please just remember that there are two sides to the table, and we are gathering large numbers, and I think it is important that you at least commit to listen to both sides, and to at least look at what is the larger amount of Massapequa interested in. We're quiet, we're kind of made to be quiet, but I would like you to commit to at least listen to our voices.
Why do you want mask? But you have the option. You have the option to wear a mask. Your kid has the right to wear a mask.
You don't have the right to wear a mask.
I don't want my child's face.
Melissa. All right, Melissa, we have to let everybody speak, and.
I let her speak, she paused, and I.
Okay, so we can hold the debate outside, I guess, after, we'll let them speak who wants to speak. And, you know, we've said always from the beginning, we will do what's in the best interest of all our children. And we will do that. It's not who's louder and how many emails we're getting, and, you know, we're going to look at the data and we said, and we're gonna follow the science, and I believe the numbers. So we're definitely taking everybody and every child into consideration. Yes, ma'am?
Hello, my name is Kristen Hauser. I'm on 44 Elm Street. I have 2 young children in Fairfield. My 6-year-old started in a mask for kindergarten, completely devastated. He comes home with his mask chewed up. I've actually mailed it to Cuomo. Chewed up, posted it. I want to know how that is protecting my child. Nosebleeds, passing out, they're overheated. My older son wears glasses and he has speech. His speech has not improved 1 iota this year because he can't take his mask off. How is he supposed to know where to place his tongue? Learn who vocalic are. All summer they've gone to summer rec, they've had extended school year, no masks. I mean, there's no data to show that the masks are filthy. The only thing they're doing is actually suppressing their immune system. And you guys all know that, and I applaud you for it. And if you would like to, what we're fighting for is our choice. Last time I checked, this was America. The land of God bless you. But don't tell me that my kid has to wear a mask. My child is not a petri dish, so don't treat them like one. I'm tired of my kids not being able to see each other's faces. When they had that one day, I mean, they were so happy. This year at summer rec, Mommy, I could see my teacher's face. I could see my children, how they smile at each other. This is how they learn. Where's the social and emotional learning here? I mean, it's been a complete and utter nightmare for these children. And people who want to wear their masks, God bless, go for it. But we are all here tonight for the choice, and I'm not co-parenting with this pervert, okay? I'm not. And I want to see the law that says that my child's right to a free and appropriate education is contingent upon them wearing a mask.
That's right.
If you want to come and arrest me for sending my kid to go for it. I don't know what law you can stand on. Everyone's saying there's a law, there's a law. It's guidance.
That's
It's
right.
all a bunch of BS, and everyone here knows it.
That's right.
And it's just wordplay. That's all it is. Everyone's blaming this one. I'm calling Curran's office. Oh, it's the DOH. Oh, it's Cuomo. No one wants to, like, I'm passing the buck to everybody. And thank God for this board, and I'm so proud to be a member of this community.
Thank you. Anyone else back there? Yes, ma'am?
Hi, I'm Susan A. I am here to represent those residents who would like to have their children wear masks in school. A lot of them could not be here for one reason or another, so I'm here for them. One of the reasons I'm here for them is because if there is local control, you guys as the Board of Ed are in a no-win situation. There are going to be people who will not go to school if there are masks, there are people who will not go to school if there aren't masks. As of now, you haven't said if there's any remote learning option. You haven't let us know if there is any other options as to how to make the most amount of residents feel comfortable sending their children to the public school that they deserve. So I'm asking you, please, dig deep. It's been a year. We thought it might be over.
It's been over a year.
It's been over a year.
Well over. One second, guys, we gotta let people speak. We can't have this. Go ahead.
This is exactly why I'm here. There are people who get intimidated when other people yell back while they're trying to express their point, or they snort, or do other things. And that's really not becoming of Massapequa. I'm sorry, I'm just asking you.
You're not speaking the fact, you said it's only been a year, it's been a lot longer than a year, so let's be here to be factual, and then we won't say anything.
So I'm just asking you as a Board of Ed to take everybody into consideration. I already told you, you're in a no-win situation if it's local control. You're going to have a group of parents who are not happy. Maybe they can't send their children to school because of medical reasons. Please, they can wear masks.
They can wear a mask.
Wear your mask.
So that little piece of fabric is going to protect your child who has a medical issue, that thin piece of fabric that they sneeze in and touch, and that's going to
I don't
protect
think
your
anybody's
child?
gonna change anybody's mind if you're a person who wants to mask versus not. But thank you for your statement, and like we said, always, we are going to do the right thing for all the children.
What grade?
What grade?
Look into everybody.
What grade is your child in?
Don't come. I said I'm here representing people who could.
You don't have children?
Sorry. Did you read? It's a joke. It's a joke, and it's out of my eyes.
All right, everybody, if we could just let everybody have their 3 minutes, and we're not gonna be able to, we're not gonna change anyone's mind, we can't have a debate. So let everybody give their 3 minutes, have their 3 minutes and have their opinions. You know, we obviously know the temperature of the room. Let them say what they want, and then, you know, we'll move on, okay? All right, so.
And they can't have their children in school, so come up with a scenario where they can get.
The scenario where your mask if you want it.
Yes.
That's the scenario.
Not everybody wear their mask, or would you want them in a separate classroom?
All right, thank you very much. Can we move on to the next comment, sir?
Yeah,
You don't have to stand.
Yeah, I'll stand.
Okay.
I gotta stand, otherwise I get stuck in a chair. I just had a couple of quick notes. I didn't come down here to really speak or anything, I just wanted to listen to what was going on and so forth. But as far as the comment about the zero, somebody said 0, 0, 0.
0.0.
The last time I can recall a zero was on the final of a calculus exam in high school, and I got the 0. But that was okay because the teacher was the golf coach and I played golf. So. As far as masks go, they wear masks, they don't wear masks, that's not necessarily a big concern of mine because I'm older. But I don't recall ever going to a wrestling match or a football game and the players wore masks. Now, if you want them to have them wear masks on all day during the school and then let them go out on the field and take the mask off, that's up to you. It's up to you, okay? But one final thing that I didn't intend to comment on, but since Mr. Baldwin had brought it up about the Hall of Fame outing.
Massapequa High School Hall of Fame, correct.
Right, outing. He gave out 12 scholarships. I used to referee high school football. I did it for 30 years. I stopped about 6 years ago when I came down with Parkinson's. And we gave out, over these 30 plus years I was part of an organization that we gave out Unsung Hero Award scholarships. And the way that gets, there are 4 conferences in Nassau County, 56 public schools, give or take. And we award a scholarship grant to one player from each conference. Now this past year we gave out an award, and you probably don't know this, and the award is, basically it comes down to a coach and or coaches on the writing a little story about, or an article about one of the players on their team. And we gave out an award this year to a kid from Belmore, and we gave out an award to a kid from North Shore. I say a kid, they're adults. Gave out an award to a kid from Valley Stream North, adult from Valley Stream North. But the 4th award was from a lineman from Massapequa. And you probably don't know that because nobody tells you. The coach probably doesn't tell you, what have you. But if I recall correctly, his name was Robert Coleman.
Yes.
And he's, oh yes.
Yes, it was. Mel? Yeah.
And I tell you, when I handed out the award, it was at a barbecue, somebody's backyard.
My house.
I had to look up at this kid. He's like 6'5", 6'6".
Yes.
Yeah, he was the biggest kid I've ever seen play football. And I don't think he had a mask on. So I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you.
Hi, Chris Brooks. I have 2 boys in McKenna. I spoke before. Just want to say again, thank you very much for all you've done over the last year and a half to keep our kids in school the whole entire year, 5 days a week. Now, for me, my beliefs are my beliefs. Other folks, their beliefs are their beliefs. All I am here is asking as a parent of the community, as a parent of 2 awesome children, that you please put it in our hands to do what's best for our children. I don't want Albany, I don't want local, I don't want the schools, I don't want other people telling me what I can do with my child. Because I tell you right now, if my child is forced to wear a mask, they both will walk into school maskless day 1.
We don't ask them.
Okay? It's my child, my choice. That's my child. Okay? There is no law that is requiring my child to be masked all day long. My boys have both, during the last school year, yes, they both wore masks and they both suffered. My younger son came home with welts on his faces. All year long, Monday through Friday, he had welts, scars, blisters. Saturday and Sunday, they went away. My younger son, his anxiety kicked in. He had other issues. They both asked me every day, Daddy, we don't want to wear masks anymore. We don't want to go to school. We don't want to go to school. The whole summer, they were maskless. I just left my son's baseball game just now. All maskless. There's not been a single case that I've been around. Yes, and there are cases, people are still getting sick. I get it. COVID is not going away. COVID's staying. COVID's here. We have to learn to live with it and deal with it as a community. And as a community, we need to do what is best for our children and put that back in the hands of our children to say what is best for our children. No person should tell me what to do with my child. I don't care who it is, except my wife. So, yeah, exactly. Happy wife, happy life. You know, and you know, it's a tough situation that you're in because unfortunately you're not getting guidance. Which in a way is good because the guidance you got before was ridiculous. But we listened to it. You know, there are a lot of people in this room that had their kids in masks. There are a lot of kids in this room that did not send their kids to school because of masks. And they also didn't send their kids to school because they didn't want to be in school with other kids for other reasons. And I get it. But again, it's our choice to do what we want to do with our kids. Last year, we sent them, we didn't send them, whatever. All I ask is please, please, I don't beg, but I'm begging you to let it be with the parents and our choice to do what we want to do with our kids. Again, our kids. Right. Okay? Thank you very much.
I just want to say, Alan, after being in PTA and dealing with the district for 17 years, I want to wish you congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
I think this is Mr. Adcock's final official meeting.
Official meeting that's on the calendar.
It's on the calendar, that's right. We're going to be meeting a lot more between now and the end of August, that's for sure.
I'll miss your road.
The road show, the
Yes,
budget
the
road
road
show.
show.
You're gonna be about the only one.
My name's Louisa Carlino, 136 Cleveland. I have 4 boys in your district. Yes, well. I represent a large spectrum of this community. My oldest is 12, almost 13, and my youngest are twins that are 6. They have all struggled variously with the mask mandates, and I just want to thank you so much for fighting for our choice. The one day we were maskless, I did tell my children, if somebody's wearing a mask, that is their choice, and that's none of your business. I have 3 out of 4 kids with asthma. My kids have suffered tremendously this year. They can't breathe. I have one child who's high-functioning autism. Same situation. He has been affected tremendously. One of my twins has speech delay. He has been affected tremendously. So 0.0 something %. I'll take the risk for their developmental, emotional, social well-being. I think that it is so important for us as parents to have a choice, and for our children to know that we have a choice, and that they're not under the thumb of somebody they never met. So thank you so much. I really appreciate all your time.
I didn't really plan on speaking tonight. My name is James Curry. I've been a resident in Massapequa for over 60 years. I've owned multiple houses here, commercial properties. I pay a lot of taxes. I'm sort of against critical race theory, and I'm being taught in schools here. 7 years ago, concerning coronavirus, not that this applies to everybody, and many people have died. And I happen to visit a lot of people that are sick, and having to deal with that. I pastor a church full time, and I volunteered doing that when I left the business world for the last 21 years. So I have children in the Massapequa School District along with properties in Massapequa. I went to pick up my 7-year-old from East Lake one day, my granddaughter. Went to give her a hug, and she had to take her saliva-soaked mask off her face and wipe herself so she could kiss me. And I turned around and broke my heart. You know, if we did that, we put cloth over somebody's face and pour water on it. They call it waterboarding. They call it torture. To do that to a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 9-year-old is ridiculous. And you know, I'm a survivor. 7 years ago, I had 14 zones of stage 4 cancer. I was given 3.5 weeks to live with no chance of recovery from Sloan Kettering. Had a heart attack, had a stroke, different things, survived it. I'm here, I'm still alive. I'm missing some parts. But I've also been up to see people with coronavirus, talk with them, pray with them. And I found out when I went to my doctor, I said, give me a test, please. He goes, no, you'd be dead if you had it. You're the perfect person. I'm also diabetic. So they turned around, they said, you'd be dead from it. I have all the antibodies from it. I went through coronavirus and I'm fine. And if I can survive it,
Thank you very much. Yes.
Hi, I'm Janine Delgado. I have 2 gorgeous girls at Eastlake. I am going to repeat pretty much what everyone says. Thank you, of course, you've been by our side the whole entire time. And I do want to just address the fact that I recognize that we are not what everybody thinks in the community, and that it can get very contentious, and I do respect other people's beliefs. That being said, it was mentioned that kids might not be comfortable to come to school, and I really implore that you stick by what you said in terms of following the science, because my kids are not here to hold the burden of people's feelings and comfortability. Like Mr. Brooks said, we need to take control of our own kids and do what's best for our kids. And I know you know this, the mask is a big fight, but this is just the precursor to a bigger fight. And so we cannot, like, we have to hold the line here. So I'm just re-asking you again, please follow the science. the data and not feelings. Thank you.
0.4. Is there anyone else? Yes.
Okay, I actually typed it out because I can't get through anything with you guys without crying. Last 2 meetings, so here we go. Please forgive me for not standing. I'm a fellow Parkinson's sufferer. My meds are wearing off, so.
Can you say your name again?
Oh, Angela De Silva. I am the proud mother of an intelligent 8-year-old boy with the biggest puppy dog brown eyes, the cutest boyish grin, and wit that often leaves me speechless. It didn't work. With the way he can plead his case out of being in trouble and throw statistics and mathematical equations at me to prove his stands, he is sure to make any of his educators beam with pride, because this boy is going places. He's supposed to be going into 3rd grade this year at Fairfield. We are supposed to be eagerly awaiting the letter in the mail this month telling us the name of his teacher who will guide his world for the next 9 months. I'm supposed to be in stores looking for bargains on back-to-school clothes and waiting in lines for back-to-school supplies. The community is supposed to start buzzing about who will be in whose class, and I am supposed to be counting the days until I finally get a little bit of me time while he is busy with his day in a wonderful school. Only he's not. We're not. I'm not. Instead, I am feverishly studying the New York State homeschooling laws. I'm connecting with other families and brainstorming ways to give my son the education he deserves. Sorry, tremors just started. Just give me 1 second. I really apologize. Okay.
Do you want someone to hold your phone?
No, I'm good. While preserving some sort of normalcy in his life, I'm talking to doctors and psychologists and analysts and educators and occupational therapists and physical therapists and neurologists in an attempt to give my son all of the resources that he should have access to in his school. At the last Board of Ed meeting, I stood up and told you how proud I was to be an Massapequa alumni. Tears filled my eyes as I admittedly got a little choked up as I thanked each and every one of you for fighting for my child. And told you that you have my full support as you continue to fight for him. And now, here we are on the brink of September with another mask mandate and a vaccine mandate on its way. And it breaks my heart to say that Fairfield will probably not have the pleasure of working with my child this year. And I will be pulling him from the district if need be. Please do not mistake my sentiments for being anti-mask or anti-vax. I am pro-parents' rights. Plain and simple. Can you just scroll up for me? I'm sorry. I am watching in horror as my white rights are evaporating at every moment. Please protect my parental rights.
We're fighting. We're fighting to keep that control and to make that decision here. We are. We're doing all we can. We're doing all we can. Thank you for sharing your story. We appreciate that. Is there anyone else?
Hi. Hello, how are you? I'm Christy Chapina. I have 4 children in the district. My oldest is 14 and my youngest is 4. I want to thank all of you for everything you've done for us. You have given us some hope. Thank you. And to all the parents too that are here fighting with us, thank you guys so much. Together we have some hope, right guys?
Yes.
I just want to give you my perspective as a teacher. I'm a teacher, I work at a high school, East Meadow High School, and everything you all expressed about what your children are going through, I see it on a daily basis, and it's really tough, the social, the emotional, the physiological, all the effects this is having on the students is terrible. I'm a science teacher, I work in a high school. We couldn't do any labs this year. They weren't allowed to use microscopes. I snuck them in, by the way. But they weren't allowed to use microscopes. I was absolutely, that's what you do in class. We have double periods every other day. You work in groups, you collaborate, you do all that great stuff. The kids interact. We had class parties. None of that. I actually had class parties here. A teacher walked in that was a little against me. She walked in, she's like, what are you doing here? Just get out of here. She doesn't, never texts me back when she came in during that moment. But anyway, you just have to just keep on fighting, and the kids are being affected greatly by this. I had also the lady who did the speech over here, which was wonderful. I had 3 deaf students. think about that, they couldn't see my mouth.
They're lost.
My daughter too, my daughter has some learning issues, and she has not progressed this year. She has not progressed, well, this year she did a little bit better, but when she was homeschooled, but she would have did much better seeing her teacher's mouth and all that great stuff. So it is affecting these kids. One more thing, I did have a student too last year that passed out. I had to catch him in the hallway because it was 90 degrees and they were wearing masks in class. So it is so dangerous for our children, and as a teacher I see it, and it really needs to stop. Okay, so I just want to say thank you.
Mark, I just want, the mask is the mask, but my biggest fear is going to the next level.
Yes.
And I'm praying that it doesn't go to the next level. I have one in college. She, thank God, got a reprieve of not having to get a vaccination because of religious requirements. So, and they okayed her. My family is religious. So my husband, we're praying that his job doesn't tell him, because some companies are saying you can't come to work anymore and you're out of work. He's 61. That's not a good thing for me, with one in college and one going to college. What about now they're wanting the 13 to 18-year-olds, 12 to 18-year-olds. There is nothing, there's no science. My kid has been on medication since he was 8 years old. It cost me a fortune for this medication. There is no studies with any interaction. He actually interacted with Sudafed, and the doctor never told me about it because it was so rare that I had him in a hospital for a day. So this is my fear, is that we need to fight this now, because the next level is going to be worse. Because we don't know what this vaccine is going to do to our children.
Thank you. Also, and I thank you all for your words this evening, and I want to thank all of you, because we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. It was the phone calls, the emails, the rallies, the comments. I mean, because we could have sat here every day and sent all our letters up to Albany till we were blue in the face, but it was because of all of you putting that pressure on New York State and on the governor and on our departments of health, and just being out here, and so we thank you, because without you this couldn't have happened. And like I said, we're always a little cautiously optimistic that we have this control and we're going to run with it, and hope that they don't bring anything else down. But I want to thank all of you, because we couldn't have done what we did without your support. So thank you.
I just want to echo your sentiments, because I was actually about to say the same exact thing. It's fantastic to be part of a community that comes together and rallies together, because at the end of the day, we show that we care. We're there for our kids. Whatever side you're on, the fact that you're coming out and you're vocal and you're involved. I mean, so many communities, and it's sad that they're apathetic, or they don't have involvement for their children. I mean, sometimes people think, oh, well, Massapequa's going crazy again. Well, but you know what? Massapequa cares. Massapequa's there for their children. Massapequa's going to continue to speak up for their children, whatever your viewpoints are. But the fact that you all came out here tonight and in this tiny room and waited for us and everything else just goes to show you your passion and how involved you are with your own children, and how fortunate we are to live in this community. So thank you all for everything that you've done.
And I would just like to echo, we're fighting for local control. And I think one of the gentlemen spoke before, talked about local elections being more important than ever. So I really urge everybody here to get our community out, not just for this, but for everything that's involved with educating your kids. This is just one of the many things that we're going to go through as a community. So I urge you to take a stand and get involved with, and this is where it all starts at the Board of Education. So, we love what we do. We're fortunate to work in a community like yours, but we also realize we're elected officials too. So it's so important at a local level to have the local control, but also how important now, I think across the country people are realizing how important local elections are. So thank you.
So do you have any further comments?
Yes, just one comment. People are going to be looking at Massapequa and what we do. Okay? We win championships. We have all-American burger. We're going to be known as a district that makes it mask optional for the parents and the students.
Yes.
All right, so we are going to be a leader, we're going to be a beacon. People are watching us.
Do we have any other comments? What's it? Oh, Mrs. Iconis, okay, go ahead.
Well, it was said a little earlier, but tonight is Mr. Alan Adcock's last, at least on the calendar, official appointment. And I just want to take this moment to personally thank you, and on behalf of the entire Massapequa community for the past 22 years. Alan, thanks for everything you've done to make this district, to contribute to this district, to make it one of the best around. Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say that some of you may know, or some of you may not know, that I was born and raised in Massapequa. I went to Massapequa schools. I really looked up to my teachers because they were awesome. And every day coming to work was like coming home. So I want to thank you for your support, for the wonderful leadership, certainly at the board level and at the administrative level in this district over the last 22 years. And I will miss you all tremendously. So.
Okay, so I guess I will make a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We'll keep you apprised of what's going on if you have to meet again and vote on stuff. We'll let you know what's going on. Thank you.